Mr. DeAndre Hopkins, it's nice to finally meet you. Welcome to your visit with the Tennessee Titans. We're going to explain why you need to be playing your football for the Titans in 2023. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome once again, Mr. DeAndre Hopkins, to your visit with the Tennessee Titans. Your experience today with the Titans is going to be produced by the Locked On Titans podcast. Yeah. That's a daily, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans podcast with Tennessee Titans content. It's on all apps, including YouTube. It's all year round. It's always for free. Yeah, if you know any Titans fans, they should get subscribed, stay subscribed. Always talking about your free agency, Titans OTAs coming up this week, Titans training camp right around the corner. So a lot going on there. If you know anyone, make sure to tell them to get subscribed. But other than that, I am your host, Tyler Rowland. I'm the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. I'm going to be your liaison for today's visit with the Tennessee Titans. I've been a Titans fan for nearly 25 years. I write for the team for Sports Illustrated. I am a certified film junkie, breaking down the X's and O's on the show every single day. It's nice to meet you. I do want to let you know that today's experience, though, is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. It's the official sportsbook of the NFL. Make every moment more. You can visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. I'm sure that's something that you aren't necessarily interested in, Mr. Hopkins. But without further ado, let's get into your visit here. Your visit today is going to be based on three pillars. Number one, familiarity. Number two, football. And number three, the financials. So we're going to get into all of that with you. Before we do, just want to make sure I have this right. Mr. Hopkins, should I call you DeAndre, D-Hop, maybe Nuke? Mr. Hopkins. Okay, that's fine. We'll keep it formal. Well, Mr. Hopkins, we're so incredibly excited to have a player of your quality here with us today. I mean, 145 career games, 853 catches, 11,298 yards, 71 touchdowns, 5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. I mean, a Hall of Fame level player. And quite honestly, here in Tennessee, we'd love to have you because we've seen you before. I mean, obviously, we've seen your career playing against you when you were with the Texans, even played against you that one game against the Cardinals. I mean, 6 catches, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. You even dusted Kevin Byard. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, they're just walking by there, but hey, we saw it, and we still believe in you. And it's not only because we here with the Tennessee Titans saw you do such a great job against us. I mean, 89 catches, 1,396 yards, 9 touchdowns in 14 games against us. Ooh, man, it was tough to watch. So we've seen that, and we believe in you. But there are some people here now who were with you during those times, and they still believe in you too, Mr. Hopkins. Before we continue, is there anything I can get you to drink? We have water, sparkling, still. We could get you some of our two-tone blue tea. Would you be it? We have bubbly, maybe some hard, a warm glass of milk. Can someone get Mr. Hopkins a warm glass of milk, please? Yes. Okay, well, we'll get right on that. But before we do, we want to bring in a couple of people. If we could first, speaking of that familiarity, let's bring in Mike Vrabel, head coach here of the Tennessee Titans. Guys, somebody send in Mike. He's broken 6 chairs in 2 days. Tell him to quit watching practice film. We need him in here. Okay. Mike, come in. See, Mr. Hopkins, we have Mike Vrabel. He was the defensive coordinator for the Texans and a defensive coach for the Texans for quite a few years while you were there, especially 2017. You remember 2017, 96 catches, nearly 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. What a great year. And Mike Vrabel was there for that. And based on things that you've said, Mr. Hopkins, it appears that Mike Vrabel had a pretty sizable impact on you during your guys' time together. I mean, in 2018, after Mike Vrabel was hired by the Titans, you said this, quote, I had an interaction with him, a lot of interaction with him. He's one of those guys you could talk to off the field, not just about football, but personal stuff. Vrabel was good to me. It wasn't just a football relationship with him. It was a personal relationship. Guys could relate to him. He's a great guy. He's not just a good coach, but he's a good guy. He can relate to his players. The Titans are lucky to have him. Well, DeAndre, we are lucky to have Mike Vrabel, and we think that you would be lucky to have Mike Vrabel back in your life as well. But that wasn't all that you said, Mr. Hopkins. You also said, quote, I think that was the best decision for the Titans. He's a winner. He knows how to win a championship, man. He's been a part of an organization that has done it time and time again with us. He did a great job last year. We had a lot of injuries, but guys still fought and played for him. I definitely think he's going to be a great head coach. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him and his family. Well, Mr. Hopkins, Mike Vrabel has won Coach of the Year. He's gone to an AFC championship game. He's gotten multiple division titles under his belt. He's been the number one seed and a 12-5 record in the AFC. Mike Vrabel has done a lot of great things. He's had a lot of injuries, and guys have continued to fight through him. I think you were right, Mr. Hopkins. Mike Vrabel does know how to win a championship, and if you join the Tennessee Titans, we think that familiarity with Mike Vrabel would be very important for you going forward. But wait, Mr. Hopkins, it is not just Mike Vrabel. Send in Tim. Yes, Tim Kelly. Do you remember your old offensive coach and offensive coordinator, Tim Kelly? I mean, he was an offensive assistant. Some of your best years in Houston. We talked about 2017, but 2018, 115 catches, 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, he was the offensive coordinator in 2019. You had 104 catches, 1,165 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Tim Kelly knows how, when, and where you like the football. That familiarity of having two people as pillars in this organization who have worked with you during your best years before, that sets the Tennessee Titans apart. That's something that they don't have at other places. Yeah, you might have played for Bill O'Brien, but did you like it? I don't think you did, Mr. Hopkins. I don't think you did. So we got Mike Vrabel. We got Tim Kelly. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be trusted. You're going to be believed in, Mr. Hopkins. That's more important than anything. But more importantly than anything else, your warm milk is ready. So give us just a moment here. We'll get you your warm milk. Bring in some snacks. Would you like some biscuits? Maybe some cold fruit? Me personally, watermelon with cracked salt on it. And if you have Himalayan salt, Mr. Hopkins, you are in for a treat. So we are going to get you your snacks here. Make sure that you're comfortable. And then we're going to talk a little bit of football now that Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly are with us. We're going to get into the football side of things because, Mr. Hopkins, we truly do think that the football side of things is a big advantage for us and a big advantage for you as well. So before we talk about football, enjoy your snacks. I want to tell you a little more about FanDuel, our sponsor for today's visit. We're in the midst of the NBA Finals right now. I'm sure you're a basketball fan, Mr. Hopkins. FanDuel customers that are brand new can get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500 when they bet on the NBA Finals, when they bet on MLB. They can bet on anything and get their no-sweat first bet. Once again, $2,500 back in bonus bets, even if your first bet doesn't win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app has great promotions every day. It's safe and secure. It's easy to get paid instantly. It's easy to use. That's why they're America's #1 sportsbook. If you know anybody who would be interested, tell them to visit FanDuel FanDuel.com/locked on and get that no sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's FanDuel.com/locked on. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Mr. Hopkins, welcome back. I do want to remind you this is a Locked On Titans podcast where we're so thankful that our listeners make the Locked On Titans podcast their first listen every day. It is Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round on all apps, always for free. I know I told you once before, Mr. Hopkins, but I just want to remind you again, it's a great place to get subscribed, stay subscribed. Titans fans can hear about your free agency. We're going to cover Titans OTAs this week, going to get into Titans training camp in July as well. So just let anybody you know who's a Titans fan, which you may know a lot more once you sign here, but I don't want to get ahead of myself, Mr. Hopkins. I did just explain all the familiarity that we could provide you with Mike Vrabel, Tim Kelly, but let's actually get into the X's and O's here and talk about some ball. What do you think about that? Did you enjoy your milk? Yes, excellent. Well, let us know if you need any more. You want more? Okay, please get Mr. Hopkins some more warm milk. All right, great. So moving right along, Mr. Hopkins, as I understand it, at this point in your career, you played 9 and 10 games in back-to-back seasons, so not a full season, had a PD suspension, some injury issues, this and that all mixed in. The production, 500, 700 yards, and it's not what you're used to, and we respect that. That's why we want to give you ample opportunity to put up big numbers this year. And we just talked about Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly's the offensive coordinator now. He knows exactly where you want the ball. He knows the routes that you're best at. He knows advantageous situations where you're able to take advantage and be your best you. So that, number one, is most important because out on the football field, you have to know how to use a player of your talent. And we have someone who does. But not only that, but there's ample opportunity for you, Mr. Hopkins, to get the football, which is what it is all about at the end of the day. Am I right? And it's not only about the ability to produce, but we are going to try and keep you healthy. Number one, Mike Vrabel loves to rotate. I mean, you're going to get your snaps, but you're going to see a healthy amount of Nick Westbrook-Akine and Chris Moore coming out there to tap you on the shoulder. And it may not always be the most fun thing ever, let's admit, but it should keep you fresh throughout the season and have you ready to go if the Titans eventually do make the playoffs. And that is what we plan to do if you do sign with our organization. But speaking of that opportunity, we let go, bums. No, that's not what I'm saying. We let go some older players who maybe weren't worth the money that we would rather pay you. We let go of Robert Woods. We let go of Austin Hooper. And now we have 190 targets available that could go directly to you. Plenty of opportunity to put up a good season, get back to your old self, get back the respect that you deserve from the NFL community. We have all of that for you, Mr. Hopkins. And not only that, not only the opportunity, but with you on our team, we can defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars, send them back to the dumpster that they belong in, reclaim the division title, go to the playoffs. And Mr. Hopkins, if we get you healthy and into the playoffs, all bets are off from there. You get to play with Derrick Henry. Did I say Derrick Henry? Someone we know that you are a fan of and a friend of already. Not only that, but you get to mentor young Traylon Burks, who, look, Burks looks good early on, but is Burks you? No, Mr. Hopkins. He is not. So you come in, you're the number one receiver. You take little old Traylon Burks under your wing, another Southern boy just like you. And you two together ravage through the AFC. It's a picture that I hope to see one day, Mr. Hopkins. And we know that you can do it. So we can take down Jacksonville together. More importantly, you can get revenge on the Houston Texans. How dare they trade you, Mr. Hopkins? As much as we were happy to see you leave our division, it was truly disrespectful. And we believe that a couple 100-yard games and some touchdowns would really pay them back and let them know what they gave away. And not only that, but you can do it wearing Houston Oiler throwback jerseys. Don't tell me that doesn't get you excited. Yeah, get this man another glass of milk. He's excited. I know you are, Mr. Hopkins. I know you are. And look, Tannehill doesn't get you going maybe necessarily, but he's a guy who works hard. He's dedicated to the team. He wants to win. He'll fight through injury. He'll take a shot to get you the ball. Those are things that are important. We got a brand new offensive line for you here, Mr. Hopkins. They're going to be able to give Tannehill time to get you the ball. And also, did I mention Derrick Henry? Okay, so the defense is pretty good, Mr. Hopkins. I'm just telling you, there are a lot of really legitimate football reasons for you to join the Tennessee Titans. We have people who know you, people who you can trust. And we have a great football situation for you to excel in. And we have as much warm milk as you could ever desire. But that's not it, Mr. Hopkins. I know that we have presented a very compelling case, but that is not all. It is time to talk about the topic that means the most: money. We're going to get our financial team in here, and we're going to break that all down with you in just a moment. Mr. Hopkins, we thank you so much for being a part of this Locked On Titans experience with your visit with the Tennessee Titans today. I know I've told you before, but I just implore you, let anyone you know who is a Titans fan or cares about the Tennessee Titans team to subscribe to the Locked On Titans podcast. It's your team every day on the Locked On Titans podcast, Monday through Friday, free Tennessee Titans content all year round. Just not going to beat that anywhere else. So again, if you have any Tennessee Titans fans, tell them to get subscribed, tell them to stay subscribed, tell them to throw a thumbs up on the video as we discuss your free agency, talk about OTAs going forward this week, break down training camp and preview the roster. You'd be doing any Titans fan in your life a great service. But back to our visit today. Of course, we talked about the familiarity that we have here available for you. We talked about the opportunity that you would have on the Titans offense. It's familiarity, it's football, but now it's time to talk about the finances. And Mr. Hopkins, we understand that this is when we get down to brass tacks. And speaking of tax, Mr. Hopkins, I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm sure you probably are, but Tennessee is a no state income tax state. And while there may be a dumb, foolish podcast host for the Titans who underestimated just how important this factor could be, we are here to tell you how lucrative this no state tax factor could be for you. Number one, 7 games in the state of Tennessee. Your bonus signed in the state of Tennessee. Outside of that, you will have a game in Houston, in Texas, no state taxes. A game in Miami, a game in Jacksonville, no state taxes. Over double digit of your games this year will have no state taxes on your check, along with your signing bonus. Mr. Hopkins, that is an offer that can't be beaten by the New England Patriots, that can't be beaten by the Baltimore Ravens, that can't be beaten by numerous teams in the NFL. So I just want you to keep in mind, while we discuss contract, while we discuss finances, that is going to save you a ton of money. And listen, Mr. Hopkins, We've heard the reports. We've heard the rumors. We know that the financial aspect of this situation is more important to you than maybe some people even understand. But we understand here in the great state of Tennessee with, once again, no state income taxes. So outside of that, which we just want you to keep in mind, we'll give you a 1-year deal, 15, 18 million. We'll give you a 2-year deal with 20 million, 25 million in guaranteed money. We're willing to do that to bring you in here because we're in a financial situation where we have the ability to absorb anything and keep the team good. Next year, Mr. Hopkins, we're set to have over $100 million or right now things are fluid, but $80 to $100 million in salary cap space next season. We can do void years and eat something if we need to give you a 1-year deal and allow you to get back to market. We're absolutely willing to do that. We're willing to give you a multi-year deal if you want a little bit of security. Can Kansas City or Buffalo give you the type of money that we can give you? And do you really want to go ring chasing like that? No, Mr. Hopkins, you do not. You do not. You would be praised, idolized, immortalized if you won a championship with the Tennessee Titans. So we have financial flexibility to get it done. Whatever you need, whatever you'd like, we'll find a way to do it. Not only that, but listen, Mr. Hopkins, I get it. You're looking at the salary cap space. You see only $8 million. We can restructure. Harold Landry, Kevin Byard, we could extend Tannehill or Derrick Henry or Byard himself. We could make a lot of moves. As said before, we could structure your contract in a way where we don't have to make any moves. We could figure it out. I have a wonderfully brilliant man next to me named Chad Brinker. We brought in some fantastic talent in the analytics department. We'll figure all that out. That's not a problem. Financially, it is not a problem, Mr. Hopkins. We can get it done. So, to recap, whether it be familiarity with Mike Vrabel as your former defensive coordinator and a guy you believe in, Tim Kelly, as your former offensive coordinator, we can beat anybody when it comes to familiarity. Bill O'Brien in New England, you didn't even like him. He wanted to trade you. 2, the football situation, you will not get a better opportunity to get targets than you will with the Titans. You will not find a better opportunity to make a deep playoff run than you will with the Titans. The Patriots aren't doing that. So who is going to give you the familiarity, the football, and the finances like we are, Mr. Hopkins? Nobody. Nobody. Not to mention, you're from the South, grew up in South Carolina, played for Clemson. Come back. You don't want to live in New England. You've lived out west and tasted that. Come back to the South, Mr. Hopkins. It's where you belong. Well, that is going to conclude our visit today, Mr. Hopkins. I certainly hope that you enjoyed the warm milk. I certainly hope you enjoyed the presentation. I know, don't mind the sound of the chairs. He's back watching practice film, and that's why we need you. He's watching tape of the wide receivers, Mr. Hopkins, and that is the type of anger that it induces. We need you, and you need us, Mr. Hopkins. I honestly think that you should sign right now. I have a contract here. You're going to wait until training camp at the end of July to make a decision. Lock the doors. Lock the doors. Mr. Hopkins, I would like to represent to you this contract. And I would also say that you cannot leave without signing it. We need you desperately. Please, Mr. Hopkins, don't leave. Stay. Sign with the Titans. Familiarity, football, finances. Don't let him go. Close it off. Mr. Hopkins, thank you for experiencing the Locked On Titans, Tennessee Titans visit Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content. Tell your friends, tell your family. Please, Mr. Hopkins, sign with us. That is going to do it for our visit today, though. I'm Tyler Rowland. This was Locked On Titans.